welcome to A Novel Console, your weekly podcast where we talk about books, games, food, and stuff that caught our attention during the week. My name is Chris, and with me is my beautiful co-host and wife, Karradyne.
Hello.
How are you doing, Karradyne?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
It is late as fuck.
It is late as fuck, which is... Wait, is your computer monitor crooked?
It might be.
I think it is. It looks like it's sitting on top of something.
Oh, it's sitting on something.
Yeah,
There
it's
we
really
go.
late, and I didn't mean for my accent to be raging like that just now. But yeah, that's where we are today.
Hey, you know where else we are today?
In Horror Month.
Yes, it's our first horror month.
Woo woo.
I know that a lot of listeners love horror month, so this is going to be a whole horror month with a review every week.
We're gonna watch Jeffrey Dahmer.
No, we're not.
I'm kidding.
That shit is going to be boring for me.
We
So,
can't.
no, I'm
We
good.
can't do that.
Hey, if this is your first time or 112th time coming into the show, welcome. We are glad you're joining us for an episode of A Novel Console. We hope you stick around and have some laughs and maybe find something new to enjoy. If you want to reach out to us, you can do it on our socials, which is basically at A Novel Console on every platform, or you can email us directly at anovelconsole@gmail.com. Or if you would like to support us, you can do that over at patreon.com/novelconsole.
Tell your friends to check out the show because every single listen and review helps. And when you tell your friends to listen and they trust you, they're more likely to listen. You can leave us a review on most platforms like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all those places. Reviews, yeah, that place too. Reviews help us be more discoverable. We also have our own A Novel Console Discord now, and Karradyne is slowly on climbing the mountain. I'm thinking about that Miley Cyrus song. Did I mention that last week, or did we talk about this in the past week?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think about that Miley Cyrus song, The Climb. I'm on the uphill, sort of. I also drank almost an entire bottle of wine this afternoon. If you want to join the Discord, send us an email or check out our Twitter and look for the pinned tweet, and one day you'll see me say words on that Discord.
Yeah.
One day.
One day. Not today, but one day.
Yeah, not today.
Hopefully this week.
I'm too tired for that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I am too.
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Hey.
we're being weird.
Yeah.
Weirder than we normally are.
Because it's so late.
Yeah, I'm delirious.
Do you have anything for the intro at all? Because I know we didn't do much.
We had a hurricane. We survived.
Nothing really happened.
I don't know
to us.
if anybody if you talked about that on the Discord at all. I see
think so,
notifications,
maybe.
but yeah, we didn't have any problems. Thank goodness. We lost internet for a little bit, but other than that, we were fine.
We lost internet for like 5 minutes.
It was longer than that.
2 hours on Friday.
Yeah,
Didn't work for 2 hours.
No, we're very, very grateful because there are people very, very close by, like literally like a mile and less than that away from us who are not in the same boat as us.
No.
So
No, they got fucked.
yeah, and we witnessed some really terrible things and how horrible people can be during a hurricane.
Yeah. They were screaming at the 7-Eleven cashier for no reason at all.
Yes, they said a bad word.
Yeah.
Very bad word.
They ran out of pizza boxes.
Pizza boxes of all things.
What a fucking loser.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. Anyway, yeah, other than that, it's late. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Okay, you want to go into book talk then?
Yeah.
All right, then this is book talk.
This week's book is manga by the master of horror manga himself,
One of our favorites.
Junji Ito.
Well, our favorite, actually.
This is actually from the Junji Ito horror comic Wait, all of his comics are horror.
Collections?
Yeah.
Tommy wasn't, and
Everything's horror.
everything's horror, yes, but they weren't collections.
This says it's the Junji Ito horror comic collection number 16.
Really?
Yes. Anyway, it's Frankenstein. According to Goodreads, it was published on August 31st, 2016 by ECC. Whoever the hell
ECC is. Maybe you should send them a message and be like, give me everything Junji Ito.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a famous bookstagrammer. I have 2,000
I applied
followers.
for a Junji Ito thing on NetGalley maybe like a year ago, and I got denied.
That
They hate me.
sucks.
I know.
That was rude of them.
Right? So this morning we were trying to decide what we should do, if we should just talk about horror characters or if we should actually try to read this Junji Ito stuff. And we settled on actually reading. And I was kind of dreading it because I thought it was going to be super, super long. Because the book is thick. It's nowhere near as thick as like Uzumaki and Tomi. But still thick enough that I was like, this is going to take me a couple hours. I was happily surprised to find out that it was only half of the book. There's a second story. There's a different story in the second half of the book, which is not mentioned on the cover, which I thought was kind of weird.
No, that is weird. Yeah.
But I was really mad when you read it as fast as you did. I was like, fuck, he
'cause I
reads
got
so
done
much
before you.
faster than I do. Well, I started after you did. I think we wound up reading it in about the same span of time.
Just
I think
about,
you read it a bit faster.
Yeah. Maybe.
But,
I don't know. I do read a manga a lot. So it's
And I
always,
feel like it
really
goes
fast.
faster on your phone. I feel like I read faster on electronic devices, which is like I feel faster. I feel like I read faster on my Kindle.
Yeah, I could see that. My buddy Jorge visited us yesterday, and throughout the entire day we were just talking nerd shit the whole day. And he pointed out that I'm a manga snob
Why?
because I don't watch the anime of anything. I just read the manga.
Oh,
And I
yeah,
told
like
him,
your little Inosuke dude.
yeah, I told him, it's like, hey, I read all of Demon Slayer. It's like, have you watched it? I'm like, no.
Yeah, but
And
they're
then
like really obsessed with anime,
they are,
especially her.
especially his wife. Yes, Melissa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently I'm a manga snob. I don't watch anime. I always think the manga's better. And I recommended a few to him. And I told him, it's like, you got to read this shit.
Anime is fucking weird.
It's not weird.
It's weird.
It's not. It's cool.
I'm going to watch it though for the Rohirrim.
The what?
The Rohirrim.
Oh, the Lord of the Rings anime?
Yeah. I'm totally
okay.
going to watch it.
Okay, going back to
Yes.
Junji.
Yeah.
What's going on with Junji?
Yes, we read Frankenstein. This made me decide that I want to try to read Frankenstein finally this month because I got a copy in one of my Al crates from earlier in the year, and I've never read it. I've read a couple of Frankenstein stories, but I've never
Like adaptations?
like retellings, and which made me realize that this does pretty closely follow the story because the two retellings that I've read, they read kind of the same, like followed the same.
So is this one of the retellings, or have you read two retellings before?
This is the second.
Okay.
The other one I read, I don't think I talked about it on the podcast. I can't remember if it was pre-podcast.
Might have been.
It was about Elizabeth Frankenstein.
Elizabeth Frankenstein.
Why is that funny?
Such a weird name.
Oh my gosh. I can't.
Every time in the manga that they addressed Victor, they were like, oh, Mr. Frankenstein. What the fuck? It's so weird.
Why is it weird? Because everybody thinks that the monster is Frankenstein?
No, because like Frankenstein is such a name that's like, I don't know, like associated with horror, like Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, you mean like before it was horrorized?
Yeah, and
Like people just talking to him like he was a normal person?
yeah, it's like Mr. Frankenstein or
I
the
see.
Frankenstein family. I'm like, what the fuck? This is so weird.
Yeah, it is weird. But yeah, so like I realized, oh, well, that book was really true to the original story if these two stories are so similar. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I felt like it wasn't as graphic as his other stuff that we've read so far.
Not at all.
Yeah. I
Like-
mean, I feel like Frankenstein wasn't even that creepy because he was just not the monster was not even that creepy because he was just like all mottled and like he was like lumpy and shit and he was stitchy. But
yeah.
he didn't really even look that I think the freakiest part was like when Victor was putting his eyeballs in. That was a little ugh.
I felt like the times when it got creepy were whenever they showed his mouth or his eyes, like up close.
Yeah, his teeth were really icky,
Yeah. That
but
I I didn't I found it I thought it was gonna be very boring. I thought it was gonna be very slow and boring
yeah, because the beginning is very boring.
because the beginning starts with like this captain on a boat wanting to go to the North Pole to find like a promised land or some shit. And then he finds Victor Frankenstein, and then like the actual story of how the monster was created and everything happens.
Because Victor's like, "Oh, you're so ambitious, like me,"
Yeah,
and then tells him of his downfall.
and I thought that that was like when it got good, when Frankenstein came along and he
When
started.
it got good.
Yes, it got good when he came
Well,
along
that's
and
the
he
point.
started telling the story.
Yeah.
And like the story was like, it kind of took over the span of a few years, but it was done. I don't want to say in a quick pace because I feel like they took their time telling their story. It's not like he rushed the whole thing just to get it over with and back to the present so that the outcome could happen. I don't know. What did you think?
I thought it was really enjoyable. Like I said, it wasn't that graphic, so I wasn't like freaked out like I was with like Uzumaki. That was,
I have really high hopes for Gyo. I can't wait to read Gyo
oh dear.
because that is the one with the killer fish. So
See, I
hope
really
that was
wanted to read
creepy.
Love Sickness today, but you couldn't find it on your damn app, and we
No.
had to make sure we read it in time.
We have to do that
Both of us.
for like the third week or something. We'll figure it out because next week we're doing the Patreon thing.
Right.
Anyways, so anything you want to say about the manga that you liked, you didn't like, you appreciate it, you hate it?
Anything I didn't like? I don't think there was anything I didn't like. I appreciated that the pacing was pretty quick because like his stuff is so long. It's so fucking long. You feel like it'll never end. But I was very happily surprised when I got to the middle of that book and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm done. It's over. Thank God." Because I didn't know what the hell we were going to do if we kept going after Frankenstein died and the monster's just wandering around being sad. Like,
Wandering around being
what the
sad.
hell?
That Frankenstein's monster was a fucking dummy.
Bless his heart.
He was so stupid.
sad. So sad.
He had a good vocabulary, but he was very stupid.
I must say, I did kind of wish he took a little more creative liberty with it and did kind of make it his own more, because I feel like he didn't really. I feel like the only way it was his own was just in the art style, you know? Because he didn't change the story that much.
But-
I feel like if he'd given it more of an Ito twist,
Like making
know?
weird like snail people and shit.
yeah, what if Victor turned into a monster, or, I don't know. He went and turned Elizabeth into a monster to keep for himself,
That would have actually been.
and then lived out his days with his little monster family. And then the monster got to have a family too, because Victor lost his whole family to the monster and made them monsters, so they all got to be monster together. Then maybe Victor would tell them how to make a monster and commit suicide, and
Then
then
they would
make
turn
him
him
into
into
a
a
monster so they could all be monsters together. But they'd all have to keep their brains to be their same people.
Oh, because the brains were bad. He had to make new brains for him.
But they'd have to keep their brains to be the same.
I don't think it would work like that.
I don't know.
I don't know. I really liked it. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I enjoyed it. I didn't really feel like horror. It just felt like a creepy tale. And like the gore wasn't that bad, and then
Hell, you barely even see what happens with those damn scissors when the Justine monster stabs him.
right.
And like she slashes the monster's face, and it's just like you really can't even tell that it's there because he's so mottled and shit,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It just didn't really feel so much like Ito, I guess.
I didn't hate it. I thought
I didn't hate it.
thought it
I
was good.
really enjoyed it.
I do agree
just
with everything you're saying.
thinking
but
about it now, it doesn't really feel like him.
the art style does feel like him.
The art style does,
Yeah,
yeah.
because every time he shows something fucked up, it's that super detailed, like very gross looking stuff that he draws. Other than that, it was a good story. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you want to give it a rating?
I did give it a rating. I gave it 4 stars.
You gave it 4 stars.
I did.
That's fair. I'll give it 4 stars too.
Copycat.
What? I told you first, and you're like, "Oh, that sounds like a good rating. I'm gonna give that
No,
one
I
too."
gave it that rating this morning.
You didn't post about it, so
I
you didn't put it on.
haven't posted in a week.
You didn't post it on our.
Do you know the
books
last
and-
time I put something on there?
Never.
It's been a long time. I know I've done it this year, but I think I
Nice.
stopped in like February. I have like 100 books to add to it.
Oh boy. All right. So, are we done with book talk?
Yes.
All right. So let's go ahead and get in some games and stuff. All right, for this week's game, we have Ghostwire Tokyo. It is a 2002 action-adventure game developed by Tango Gameworks and published by Bethesda Softworks. The game released worldwide on March 25th, 2022, and it is a one-year timed exclusive for the PlayStation 5 and Windows. So meaning, just like Deathloop did recently, it is coming to Xbox eventually.
Oh.
Yeah.
The 1 year exclusive, like it's just PlayStation exclusive for a year?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's something they do. It was deals that they had set up before Xbox bought Bethesda.
I see.
Yeah, so they had this and they had Deathloop as a 1 year timed exclusive. So in a year's time, we'll see this coming onto Xbox, and then it'll take a whole new life, and everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, Ghostwire is so good."
The best game ever!
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, it is a game made by Tango Gameworks and published by Bethesda Software. So if that sounds familiar, it is because Tango Gameworks is the same people that did The Evil Within. Let me just make sure. That is correct. They made The Evil Within 1 and 2, which I covered on the show over the last 2 horror months.
Yes.
Yes, last year's The Evil Within 2 was actually in November. We missed the
Oops.
whole deadline.
Oops.
Oh, well,
It's okay.
it got out.
It's not the end of the world.
No. So, basically, the game starts off as an accident happens. Like a motorcycle accident with a bunch of cars happens. And a ghost tries to take over a couple of people because a mist is rolling into Tokyo. And that mist turns everybody into spirits. And the ghost manages to get into the main character in time to survive the misting. And then ghosts take over Tokyo. And yokai take over Tokyo. And monsters take over Tokyo. So,
Sounds like a good time.
yeah. Yokai are quote-unquote demons. They're like cryptids in Japanese mythology. So you have kappas, which are like duck beings.
What?
Yes. It's called a kappa. It's a duck-ish being with arms and legs. And it has a little dish on the top of the head that needs to be filled with water all the time. Otherwise, it will die.
Is
They're
this supposed to be a demon?
somewhat.
What?
But their demons are different because not all of them are evil. Some are just playful. Like, what's it called? The Itan Moment looks basically like a giant rug flying in the air. You get to catch those. There's one that's it looks like a lady, but it's like a giant long snake body, and it peeks at you from corners.
It peeked at you.
Peeks at you.
Peeks at you.
Yeah, peeks at
Peeks
you.
at you.
From
Peek
corners.
at you.
And then there's the little ones that are like tree beings that live inside sacred trees that you have to protect from the ghosts. There's quite a few. There's one in particular that's very weird. It's a flying weasel with sickles for hands. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's a flying weasel with sickles
With
for hands.
sickles for hands.
Yes. You know what a sickle is?
Like an icicle?
No.
Like a popsicle?
No, it's a curved blade on a stick. They use it to cut grass. Let me look up what a sickle is.
Oh, like a
You know the Grim Reaper?
yeah.
The small version of
Oh,
that. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, the small version of its weapon.
Wolverine.
Yeah. So there's also like Oni. There's a bunch of Japanese mythological creatures in the game that actually help you. If you help them out or capture them or whatever, you can take their power away to add to yours to make your abilities stronger. So the I haven't even touched about the coolest thing about the game yet because it's so cool. You kill these ghosts and monsters by finger banging
How
them.
do you kill? Wait. Okay. First, how do you kill a ghost?
By shooting it and ripping out its core.
Why are you finger banging these things?
Because that's how you shoot your magic. By pointing your fingers and going like bang. So you finger bang them with wind,
That kind of finger
with
banging.
water,
You're
or with
not
fire.
finger banging.
It's finger banging.
Okay.
It's finger banging.
There are
It's like,
two very different meanings to that word, that phrase.
technically finger banging.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so you have three kinds of finger banging powers. You have the wind, the water, and the fire. The fire is incredible because everything it touches, it just fucking obliterates. And the water, it just slices through anything. And then the finger banging with the air is like the one that you will use all the time. So, you also get like a bow and arrow. You get some seals that you can throw to seal people. I really like the game because it does this thing where it makes it seem like urban legends and all these monsters that are in society that go bump in the night that nobody can really explain are explained in the game, and they are made to be seen in a somewhat mundane way. So let's say, my cabinets slam at 3 a.m. for no reason. You go check the apartment, why the cabinets slam at 3 a.m. Turns out that the previous tenant died and is pissed because they died and didn't have a one thing that they didn't get to do in life. Or they're worried about something, and because of that, they can't pass on to the next life. So you go in, you help them, and then you go back to the other spirit, and the other spirit can rest because their apartment is now clean. And like there's sources of corruption that are like hexes and shit that people did because they were mad at others, and that just brought so much negative energy that it created a bad thing. And like you can go to the Japanese afterlife and all that shit. It's very, very good. It's a very, very good game. I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
I know. You talked about it a lot.
I did?
You did.
When?
When you were playing it.
I did?
Yes.
To you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think I have a couple of notes about the game. Let me see if I can find them. Let me see. So, personally, I think this game is fantastic. I played it. I thought it was fine. The more I kept getting abilities and doing stuff, I just kept falling more and more in love with it. The one thing that I love is that every single store, convenience stores, food stalls, like special places that you have to collect items for, are run by Nekomata. Let me see exactly how it's called. Basically, they're cat yokai. Let me see. Nekomata? Yeah, Nekomata. So it's basically a cat yokai, and they deal with money basically the entire time. So you buy stuff from them, and you can sell them stuff, and you do transactions with cats, and it's adorable because they always say meow every time they talk to
Do they
you.
wave at you?
Yes, they do.
Oh my goodness.
They do. And sometimes you'll walk up to them and like the cat is licking itself, and it'll see you and freak out and just look at you. Just wait for you to tell them what you want. Or like they'll be singing, and when they see you, they'll stop.
They sing?
Yeah.
Like
Sometimes,
songs?
yes, but meowing. Like
Oh,
they're singing
my
a song like
gosh.
meowing. Yeah.
Meow, 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 meow.
Something like that.
Meow, 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 meow.
There's one thing that the Nekomata sells you that it's basically like an origami piece of paper but it's folded in the shape of a person. So it has like the head and the arms and shit. And you use that to trap the souls of the people that were turned into souls that were kind of separated from their bodies. You take those souls over to a payphone and you send them to somebody that helps those souls go into the afterlife. And that's how you get experience and money so that you can upgrade your abilities and then you can buy stuff, because you got to buy those papers, you got to buy them. It's not like you can just use the same one over and over again. You have to buy more. There were a few segments that I absolutely hated. There are some segments that you're separated from your ghost buddy, KK.
KK?
Yes, his name.
That's my nickname.
His name is KK.
Oh my gosh.
I loved KK. KK was a grumpy old fuck, and I love him. And he knows so much about the occult and ghosts and shit. It's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you play as Akito, and you have KK. So whenever you're separated from KK, you have to sneak around the ghosts and use your bow and arrow if you get into fights, which I think the bow and arrow is terrible. It is the worst part of the game. Like, I hated using the bow and arrow. It was so bad. But you can do one-hit kills on the ghosts, so, if you sneak up on them, you just kill them and continue. The game is good. I don't know what else to say about this game other than it's good. Like, I don't know how to convince somebody to play this game. Like, this game is fucking fantastic. I was playing it, and I thought it was a 7. And when I finished it, I thought it was an 8. Like, it went up a whole point when I finished the game.
It's impressive.
Let me see some more notes that I have here. Let me say. So I bought the game when it released, and I just put it on the shelf. Never touched it. And a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I don't have anything to play. Let me just start Ghostwire and see how it is. I didn't even want to play the game. I just wanted to start it and see. I got hooked. Because it's an open world collectathon game, and like, you have a large area to explore, and you have a bunch of collectibles to explore, but they're not hard to find because you have them show up on the map. And if you go to certain Nekomata stores, they tell you, I need these, and these are where they are. And they'll give you a general area, and you just go explore and find them. There's a bunch of missions that you will find a ghost, like outside some place, or like waiting for something, and they'll tell you, this is my problem, go resolve it. You go resolve it, you get points and shit. It hit a lot of completionist notes that a lot of gamers have, and they did it very well. I felt like The Evil Within 2 didn't have such a great open world-ish area when they did that. I feel like Tango Gameworks really nailed it here. I feel like they did a really good job. Let me see here. So I collected pretty much everything. The only thing that I didn't collect were all the spirits, because there's like 200,000 spirits plus. I collected 150,000, and they just pop up in random places. It's not like you need to find specific ones for each area. So you can just stay in the same area collecting spirits, and you're going to collect them all. But I didn't feel like doing that. I mean, it's just no. Okay, let me see here. So when you shoot the ghosts and you kill them, they explode, right? And when they explode,
That's so weird.
it's very weird. When they explode, they leave behind
Pikmin.
I wish. They leave behind like colored orbs. Mm-hmm. Green for wind, blue for water,
Pikmin.
Red for fire, somewhat. So it kind of looks like diarrhea Christmas lights every time they die.
Gosh.
Because they're everywhere.
I'd want to kill them all.
Yeah, I would kill them all, just like be finger banging the shit out of
Oh
them.
my God. I can't.
Very, very good. So I'm going to get in some late game spoiler-ish things. So if you want to skip ahead, just skip ahead like maybe 5 minutes. You should be good. The first thing, I forgot, this isn't really a spoiler, but after this, the spoiler starts. So I forgot that the point of the game was to find your sister and save her. It wasn't really to get the ghosts out of Tokyo at all.
That's a pretty cute mission.
Yeah, because his sister's in the hospital. You get there, the big bad is like, I'm taking her, and he takes your sister away.
Out of the hospital.
Out of the hospital, he steals her. Actually, the bad guy in this game is great. I like him. It was a very compelling bad guy. He was very, very good. Okay, so let's get into the spoilers. So there's a scene that's about 10 to 20 minutes long at the end of the game, in which you will get to see the main character's memories growing up with his sister, from the moment that she's born all the way till they're adults. So you get to see all the good stuff that happens to them, all the bad stuff. So and I feel like they really touched into specific like brother and sister things that happens when you are a brother and a sister. So like
a big brother and a little sister.
A big brother and a little sister, yeah. So like a lot of that stuff, like I could relate to a lot of that stuff. And I have to admit that it made me miss my sister.
Which is unheard of.
Yeah.
Well, it was unheard of when you lived together.
So I texted her that I loved her, and she replied back, "Are you high?"
I mean, can you blame her? You were feeling sentimental.
I was
You
sitting
were in
there.
your feelings.
I was sitting there. I'm like, oh my God. That's me and my sister.
I can't.
Let me see. Okay. So this is like out of place. I don't know why I wrote this here, but I love the English voice cast because it's just as good as the Japanese cast. They used a complete Japanese cast for the English voice. So every person that does a voice has some sort of Japanese background, except for the one character that is white, who's obviously played by a white person. So, like I said, I was originally going to give this game an 8 because I was having a good time with it. I spent close to 28 hours in it, and I almost completed everything. But that one scene with the main character growing up with his sister, and then like from that, the ending and all the emotional notes that it hits, and like the ending itself, it just pushed it to a 9. Like the story was like a normal, oh, I gotta save my sister in the city. No, I gotta save my sister in the city by proxy, basically.
Right.
To, okay, this is, I should have seen this ending coming, but it's done well. I really liked it. It just threw an emotional punch after emotional punch, including the bad guy, who, like I said, I empathize with him. And if I were in his shoes and I could do exactly what he did, I would. I would sacrifice the entire city of Orlando for his motivations if I had to.
For your sister?
Not my sister.
Oh.
No. So honestly, I wish this game would have come out when I was younger and I was still living with my parents, so that I would have played it then, so that I would have had maybe a better relationship with my sister growing up, because we didn't really have a great relationship until now. So it's a great fucking game. It's a 9 out of 10.
It's hard to have good relationships with siblings when you live with them.
Especially with that age gap that we have. I'm 7 years older than her. So me being 17, she was a 10-year-old. Me being
it's pretty
10,
annoying.
She was very young when I was 10.
Yeah, she was 3.
Yeah. So it's a big gap.
Well, I mean, I have a bigger gap, but we also have a very different relationship.
Yeah.
And I was his caretaker. His third parent.
His third parent.
Bless him.
But yeah, oh no, I really like this game. I everybody that has asked me recently, what good game have you played recently? What game do you recommend? It's like Ghostwire. If you have PS5,
all the way.
If you have PS5, buy fucking Cyberpunk and buy Ghostwire. They're first-person shooters, and not a lot of people are into them, but Ghostwire
you are.
is really good. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure this shit's gonna come to Game Pass next year because it's Bethesda, and Bethesda was bought by Microsoft. Deathloop was thrown into it. I mean, it seems like a fucking home run. Like, once this hits Game Pass, I hope everybody plays this because it is such a good fucking game. Very good. So, are you ready for Gorbage?
Did you rate it?
Yes, 9 out of 10.
Oh, oops, I missed that part. Yes, I'm ready for Gorbage.
All right, that is Give Me the Gorbage.
This week's restaurant is Real Fish Coastal Kitchen in Winter Park. Chris's aunt took us out to dinner. for magical dining
For her birthday.
for her birthday.
It was her birthday, and she paid for everything.
Well, yeah, we told her we couldn't go because, like, both of our cars broke down on us in the last month, and we've just spent a lot that we did not anticipate.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money that we didn't have.
Yeah, there you go. So we told her we couldn't go, and she's like, "No, I want you to be part of my day. I'll pay." We're like, "Okay." So we went to this place, very cute little place in Winter Park.
Very charming place, actually.
Yeah.
The only weird thing about it is that it's on the side of the main road.
It was really terrible parking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost impossible parking.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was the night before the hurricane hit.
Yes.
That was fun. But yeah, so super fancy. We ate some things that we had never had before.
I found out stuff that I'm not allergic to, which is great.
Yeah. I think we need to try some crab now.
Oh boy, I'm
Yeah.
scared.
Oh gosh, maybe that's too far.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I'll start with shrimp.
we she wanted to start with oysters Rockefeller. Is that what they're called? And she's like,
Oysters
"You guys have
Rockefeller?
got to try them." And I'm like, "I don't think I can eat an oyster. Like, it's all a texture thing." And she's like, "No, they're baked, so they're not slimy." Y'all, it didn't make any difference. It didn't make a damn bit of
So
difference.
the oysters Rockefeller were like their house-made spinach and artichoke dip
Yeah.
over the oyster.
See,
with,
the first bite I got was only spinach and artichoke dip. And I'm like, man, oysters taste a lot like spinach and artichoke dip. Because I didn't realize. It was also really fucking dark in there.
It was a dark
It was
restaurant.
so dark. I couldn't see anything I was eating.
and it has Parmesan melted on top. No, now that
Yeah.
you're saying that, and now that I think back on that night, I don't remember seeing details or shit because I was also drinking. I was drinking.
Yeah, you
fucking,
did.
What's
I
it called?
didn't.
Old fashioned.
Yeah, that thing.
And once you, it like all that whiskey with all that darkness in there was just pure darkness. What were you saying about the oysters and shit?
Yeah, so I the first bite I took, I thought it was just spinach and an oyster shell. But then the more I ate it, I ate two of them because I felt like there wasn't much oyster in the first one I ate.
There wasn't a lot of meat in them.
But y'all, they just taste like mushrooms, and I don't like the texture of mushrooms. They're like rubbery.
They are a little bit rubbery.
And I can't do it. The flavors were fine because it was primarily spinach and artichoke dip that you could taste. But the chewy rubberiness, no, sir. Your aunt had like 6 of them.
She had all of them.
She had almost all of them.
3. You had
I had 2. Nobody else had any.
I think Anna had 1, and then Victor had 1.
Oh yeah, she saved one for Victor.
Yeah, her boyfriend. Yeah. It was, oh my God. I looked at them and they smelled great. I was just sitting there, and I told Karradyne, well, whoever's afraid of dying shouldn't be born, and I just ate one.
You did. You did, and you're still here.
I'm still here.
You didn't have any hives. You didn't have your throat swell up.
No
Nothing.
itchies, no nothing.
Nothing.
They were tasty. So I was originally Magical Dining gives you a 3-course meal.
Each person gets their own 3-course meal.
So you have an appetizer, a main dish, and then you have a dessert. Would you be able to find the Magical Dining menu for them?
Let me see here. One moment.
While
Keep
you
talking.
look for that, I'll tell what I wanted to tell. So, because I had just had oysters Rockefeller, I decided to go and just fucking take the plunge and see if I died that night or not. Because if I didn't die that night, I was gonna die the next day with the hurricane. So, I was originally gonna get the spinach and artichoke dip, which I'm glad I didn't get because while it was good, they only gave you like 3 chips with it. So then the rest you would have had to eat with your spoon or fork. So I decided to have the, what's it called? The New England clams in tasso or something like that. It was very incredible garlic bread. The best garlic bread I've had in my entire life. You had some garlic bread, didn't you, Karradyne?
Yes, and what you had was the cedar key clams and tasso toast.
And tasso toast, yes.
Fresh local middle neck clams sauteed in a tasso ham sofrito with garlic, fennel, onions, parsley, white wine, grilled ciabatta for dipping.
I did not taste the fennel at all in that. Could you?
I don't remember. I remember the flavors being awesome, but once again, the texture got me because it was rubbery and icky.
So
that bread was awesome. My bread was soggy as fuck. Yeah. It tasted like they toasted it and then dipped it in water.
The portions on that, I felt like that was like a main dish portion. That was a lot of fucking clams. That was a ton of clams. I think I still have a picture of all the empty shells I sent to my mom, and I was like, "Look, I'm not dead."
It's a miracle.
Let me see here. Okay, here we go. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 clams. And it was a lot of tasso sofrito, and that shit was fucking delicious. That was so good. With the toast, oh my god. That was the fucking highlight for me. That was the best part of the entire meal for me. Because it was meaty, it was rich, it was hearty.
The flavors were on point.
Yes, it didn't have any clam flavor. Like, it was very, very small because, you know, the clams were open, so they were soaked in the sofrito. So all of that clam juice was gone. I loved it. I would go back for that.
Now, my appetizer. So you got to choose between fried green tomatoes, spinach and artichoke dip, or the clams. I got the fried green tomatoes because magical. I can't say these were magical. So it's fried green tomatoes on roasted red pepper vinaigrette, which really threw me off. I wish I had like more thoroughly thought about that and read it, but I just saw fried green tomatoes. I was like, shit, yeah, fried green tomatoes. And it's topped with crumbled goat cheese. Now that vinaigrette was weird.
It was sweet, wasn't it?
It was. And it almost like, oh God, I hope your aunt doesn't listen to this. It almost had like a Chef Boyardee quality to it, I felt like. But then these tomatoes were not ripe at all. They were super, super thick and hard. They were not ripe.
They were also not green. They were
They
yellow.
were not, well, I mean, green tomatoes
are supposed to be green.
I know they're supposed to be green, but once you cut them open, they do look kind of yellow. Like it's not like a green, I don't know.
They were like fucking Mountain Dew yellow.
They didn't look like tomatoes once you cut into them, honestly. And like I said, they were hard as hell. Like they felt like rocks. They were hard to cut because they were so tough. And they were, I don't know. It just wasn't great. I ate as much of it as I could. I was really excited when I saw how huge the portion was, and then I tasted it and I was like, oh, this isn't great. And I wish they'd not put it on a bed of that vinaigrette. If they'd just like given you that vinaigrette on the side, that would have been much better.
I mean, I'm not a fan at all of fried green tomatoes, so to me it just, they weren't good to me.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a fan of fried green tomatoes.
They needed to be cut thinner and fried harder.
Fried harder.
And not over that weird stuff.
I mean, I feel like the coating on them, the crunchy aspect of the coating was there.
Yeah.
I felt like that was pretty good.
But that's not all. You just give me some fried crumbs. What the fuck? That's not what I want.
Actually, now that I think about it, Anna got the fried squid.
Yes.
The first bite that I had, I absolutely hated. It was not good.
Yeah.
Then I had a couple more, and it was actually really good. They did a fried chicken batter for it, so it kind of tasted like fried chicken calamari. I really liked it. It was very good. So that, not as good as what's it called, Castaways, but it was still pretty good. And they give it to you with tomato sauce, like calamari with tomato sauce. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. So then the main course, you had the choice between pecan-crusted rainbow trout, pompano beach swordfish, or shrimp or rigatoni.
Rigatoni.
Shrimp or chicken rigatoni. You going to start or me?
You start.
Okay, so I got the shrimp rigatoni. You can get it spicy or not. It is with wild caught Florida white shrimp, all natural southern fried chicken, scratch marinara sauce of fresh tomatoes, sweet basil, garlic, and fresh herbs, shaved parmesan with grilled ciabatta. So I got it shrimp and spicy. Okay, I already said the ciabatta tasted like it was dipped in water after it was toasted. So it was super soggy and chewy and just disappointing, especially after tasting how amazing yours was. It was so crunchy and perfect. So like I said, I got it spicy. I assume that when I say I want something, I just need to stop ordering spicy things because
If they
apparently
can give you,
nobody
like-
understands. I need to ask them what their definition of spicy is.
No, what you need to ask is for them to give you the spicy on the side so you can add it.
There you go. That's true. Because guess what the spicy was?
Red pepper flakes.
It was just fucking red pepper flakes, and they dumped it onto this. I could barely eat it. I was crying at one point. I felt like my taste buds were being burnt off. It was literally just hell on a plate. And I love spicy. Mm-hmm. But that just dumping red pepper flakes on something is not what I would call spicy. Like, it needs to be cooked that way. Come on.
And like when you can see like the giant chunks of red pepper flakes all over it.
It was literally like they had the uh-oh that I did that one day where they accidentally pulled the whole lid off instead of leaving the, whatever you call that. What's it called?
The lid?
Well, no, the thingy that controls how much you put, the shaker part, the holes.
The holes for the shaker.
Yeah. And it, like, that part popped off and they just dumped it on there. So my meal was not enjoyable. We'll say that.
So I've noticed with fucking the red pepper flakes, if you're gonna add them to something, you have to be like sparse with it because they're dehydrated, right?
Yeah.
So when you put them in your mouth, they rehydrate.
Yeah.
And you get all that fire.
It's a lot of fire.
So they should have cooked it, made a separate batch of sauce with that in it so that it could mellow out.
Exactly. Have a spicy sauce and a regular sauce.
Yeah. What is wrong with Una?
She was having the boofs and now she's broken.
Okay. And then I had the swordfish. Tell me what's with the swordfish, because I forgot.
The swordfish is sustainably caught off Florida's East Coast, lightly blackened poblano cream sauce, Louisiana-style dirty rice, which contains pork, and collard greens cooked low and slow with ham hock. I could have told you weren't going to like it.
Collard greens were spicy acid bombs.
Collard greens are disgusting.
They were nasty.
Disgusting. I have never
Had good collard greens.
understood why anybody eats that shit. Anybody.
That was really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
That rice was
Very
really bad
acidic.
too.
The dirty
It was
rice.
disgusting.
That tasted like rice with dried,
Shit.
powdered chicken
Shit.
skin.
Shit.
No.
It was awful.
It was terrible. It was disgusting.
It tasted okay at first, and then you were like, "Oh God, no,
Why does it
no,
why does it turn into like a paste?
yeah."
Anyways, the fish was great. The fish was really good. Had a nice sear on it. It was still juicy inside. That sauce they poured over it.
We
was
both
pretty
should
good.
have gotten the pecan crusted trout.
That shit was incredible.
Yeah, and
That
those
shit was so
potatoes
crunchy
that
and
she
so.
had.
And oh my god, the potatoes.
Yeah, we both should have just gotten that. We made a mistake.
We did.
Big
We
mistake.
fucked up. That swordfish was great though. The rest of it was not.
Yeah. None of mine was good.
No.
No.
Not even the cake. You got the carrot cake.
We're getting there. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, so for dessert, I was really disappointed with these choices. You had either Mike's famous carrot cake, Carrie's coconut cake, or a chocolate brownie.
Oh boy.
I got the carrot cake, which is house baked, infused with pineapple and coconut, served warm with cream cheese icing. You got the Carrie's coconut cake, which is house baked, family recipe, rich and creamy, served with love.
It was a big piece. So
that
if
carrot
that's
cake
love,
it tasted like fruit cake.
that carrot cake had a slice of orange on top that ruined it.
Yeah, the orange seeped down. Well, then it's also infused with pineapple and shit. It's carrot cake. Don't infuse it with other shit.
I get it infused with pineapple and shit. It didn't taste bad, but I did have a bite after you took the orange off, and I was completely fucking taken off of it because it just tasted like orange. Like, what's the fucking necessity?
Plus, I'm like, where's the option for people who don't like cake, like me? I don't want a slice of cake. I don't. Give me a bowl of ice cream, something else, or give me a scoop of ice cream with this cake.
I think the brownie had a scoop of it.
No, it didn't, because Anna got the brownie and it did not have ice cream.
Oh.
Or Victor. Somebody got the brownie and it had no ice cream.
Okay, so I still don't fucking get what's the fucking fetish these people have with putting some sort of fucking type of citrus on shit that doesn't need it. Like, why the fuck?
Yeah, because they put it in the middle of the cream cheese icing, so you lost half your icing to the orange slice.
And then the fucking icing tastes like it's curdled.
What?
It's like putting fucking lime into the fucking cannoli mix.
The lemon with the cheesecake and the...
It just makes me violently angry. Like, that orange was unnecessary.
You feel really passionately
about this. It ruined the whole
this.
fucking thing. Now, the coconut cake.
It did.
Coconut cake was really good. I wish it would have been warm, but it was still very good.
I don't know. I didn't agree with your assessment of it.
No?
No.
Because it was kind of dense, like a Sara Lee, but it was also very moist and flavorful.
I guess. The slices were way too big.
The slices were great.
They were massive.
They were fucking lovely.
They gave us a lot of food.
I really liked the cake. The cake was very coconutty. The frosting that it had on top was very fluffy and airy, kind of like a whipped cream, but it wasn't really whipped cream. It was very good. I really liked it. That to me was a win. To me, this dinner to me felt like a win because I found out I'm not allergic to shells, to clams,
and oysters.
And I did enjoy the cake and the swordfish, even though the sides for the swordfish were complete fucking trash. You had
I had a very different experience.
Yeah. So do you want to give us your rating and then I'll give mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remind me of the exact middle scale.
Okay, so it goes garbage, meh, okay, almost garbage, and God tier.
Meh.
Meh?
Yeah.
I'm going okay because it was good. What I ate.
I don't want to go back.
Okay, so the swordfish, the sides for the swordfish killed the...
It was awful.
Garbage rating for me.
Yeah.
And it brought it down almost garbage to an okay for me.
Yeah.
Because if it would have just been that the shells from the appetizer, I would have been done with a garbage right there. But I mean, I feel like the prices are way too high. There are some other things that I do want to try. Like they have like a fish dip that's like...
Yeah, we can't afford to go back there.
Smoked, thin sliced smoked salmon. Mm-hmm. That I wanted to try, but...
Well, that does sound pretty good.
Yeah. So,
but
no. Maybe
I think part of it was also just because it's that magical dining menu. You're limited to your choices. And I wasn't attracted to any of those main course choices. I don't know.
Oh, well. Yeah. Okay.
Not a win for me, but still grateful for a free meal.
Yep. Very grateful for a free meal and very grateful to find out that I'm not allergic to something that I thought I was.
It was a fun night.
And it was fun.
Before we were trapped inside for 2 days straight.
Yeah, I like that part too. That's a good part. All right. So do you want to say goodbye to everyone, Karradyne?
Yes. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.